Hello, fans of all ages, and happy Monday night to you all. This is indeed the Ryan Morik Show, coming to you live from Studio A here at Ramapo College in Mahwah, New Jersey on WRPR 90.3 FM. Thank you all very much for tuning in. Going to be a fun show tonight. We have a lot of stuff to talk about. We have stuff going on with Major League Baseball involving pace of play. We have some stuff about Tiger Woods. We have some stuff going on in the NBA. And later on, you're going to hear a rant that you do not want to miss. But first off, surprisingly, on all my podcasts that I recorded before this show went live, I haven't talked about one thing that has been a very big discussion in sports. The MLB released a bunch of new pace of play rules, some of them involving how the managers have to stay in the dugout during replay challenges. Another one where batters have to keep one foot in the batter's box, prompt returns in between commercials and innings and all that. I am all for the new pace of play rules. The new system is broken. For guys like me who have been watching the sport for years and years and years, the system's not broken, but if you're a parent and you have a child who you want to play baseball and they're getting bored of it because games are way past their bedtime, then things have to be fixed. The one thing that I do disagree with, however, is keeping the 1 foot in the batter's box at all times. David Ortiz said the other day that the pace of play rules have a huge advantage to the pitchers, and especially involving this rule, he is right. It's already hard enough to hit a 95-mile-an-hour fastball and then adjust to a 70-mile-an-hour curveball or changeup or slider or who knows what's coming out of the pitcher's hands. Now that you have to keep the 1 foot in the batter's box the whole time, except when someone calls a timeout, or there are a whole bunch of different exceptions, your body gets stiff. Why do you think batters call timeout when the pitcher doesn't throw the ball within 20, 30, 40, however many seconds? It's because their body gets tight. They have to stay loose. The fact that their back foot, you assume, has to be in the batter's box, it's going to tighten up their muscles. They step out of the box not to take their time and dilly-dally. They take their time and they gather all of their thoughts. After every pitch, you need to recuperate every one of your thoughts, and you have to think to yourself, okay, he went fastball here. Is it going to go curveball? Is it going to go fastball again? Is it going to go up and in? Is it going to go low and away? There are a million things that a batter thinks about just before even stepping into the box. It's not that easy to think about that next pitch when you're being pressured into staying in one spot. The one thing that's too much is fixing equipment every pitch. You got to fix the helmet. You got to fix the shin guard. You got to fix the elbow guard. You got to Velcro up your batting gloves that you already had a ton of time to do beforehand. The advantage is already to the pitchers. The league batting average is at 251, as if they don't have enough advantages anyway. The only people who know what pitch is coming is the pitcher and, for the most part, the catcher. The batter has no idea what is coming up. The pitchers already have the advantage. The batters should be able to take their time and regather their thoughts. It's the pitchers who are the ones who walk around the mound for an hour and a half in between every pitch. Like I said, I can watch baseball for hours and hours and hours. I couldn't care less about the pitch clock that they brought into the minors. But for the average fan who was losing attention to the game, that's the one good thing about the new pitch clock. Even though there was already a 12-second pitch rule in the MLB, stop making new rules. Just enforce the old ones. And yes, it is in the rule book. I can't tell you what rule it is, but it's in the rule book that the pitcher must throw a pitch in 12 seconds or else a ball will be called. Stop making new rules. Stop bringing pitch clocks. Just enforce the rules that are already there. Now you have rules that are, what's the word I'm looking for? They mess around with each other. I can't find that big word that I'm looking for. But they don't coincide. Again, I'm all for keeping the game quick. And again, for me, the system is not broken. Whether the game is 5 innings or 18 innings, I can watch it. But the people are not interested in this game anymore because it does take too long. Are these pace of play rules going to have a major impact? No, not right away, but the rules definitely have potential. Now, the one thing I don't get, big baseball fans, they're saying how, oh my God, I can't watch the game anymore, it's getting too long. Why are you a fan of the game then? Pace of play should not have any effect on long-time fans of the game. The great thing about baseball is that there was no time limit. You need 27 outs. No clocks, no triple zeros, no time limits, no nothing. If you can't sit and watch a 3-hour baseball game, then don't watch it. Now, believe me, I understand why people say it's boring. There's no contact. You foul off a pitch and you got to sit around for another minute and a half for the next pitch. You run 90 feet every time. Not every pitch has action. But people who sit there and watch the sport, they complain that they're still bored. If you're going to complain about how bored you are, don't watch it. Pace of play isn't, let's say there's an 18-inning game, pace of play isn't even going to help that out because 18 innings, whether you have pace or play or not, it's going to last at least 5 hours. At least. And guys, is there really a difference between 3 hours and 2 hours and 50 minutes? If you watch the sport and complain about the length, unless, like I said before, if you have kids and are trying to get them into the sport, I'm sorry, go watch something else. I have seen tons of football games reach the 4-hour mark. The college football playoff, the national championship, the first quarter was about 50 minutes long. No one was complaining about that, and that was on a Monday night. The game didn't end until like 12:30, 12:45. I understand football is the most popular sport in the United States, but don't dislike football because of the length when football is just as long and longer, which I'm going to get to in a couple minutes. And you want to talk about length? The last 2 minutes of an NBA game, ridiculous. Point, timeout, score, timeout, foul, timeout. Stop calling timeouts. You're helping the other team think of a good defense to stop you. Even though you're writing down what's probably going to be what you hope is going to be a good play, the defense is thinking of another scheme. I was in this city Saturday night. I walked into a store, and the Arizona and Utah game had about 30 seconds left. I got whatever we bought. It was a 5-minute walk back to my hotel. The game still wasn't over. How ridiculous is that? You want to complain about a 3-hour baseball game where there's action in every single pitch? But you don't complain about the last 2 minutes of an NBA game or any basketball game where the last 30 seconds take 30 minutes? Whether there are 6 pitches in a game or 600, every pitch is action. Even though you might not swing on a pitch, it's action. It's not just when the ball is in play. Hits are made in one pitch. History is made in one pitch. Games are changed on one pitch. World Series are won on one pitch. Football, you can take a knee, you wait 40 seconds for the play. Hockey, you sit behind the net for 35 seconds before you take a rush. Basketball, you dribble out the last 25 seconds of the clock. While baseball, no, I will admit it. Even though it's my favorite sport, bar none, it's not that physically demanding. But a quick stat for you. Average NFL game, 11 minutes of action. MLB, 18 minutes. You don't like baseball because it's too long. You like football because it's, longer? Now, don't get me wrong. Football is a great sport. I look forward to football season every year. But don't complain about baseball being too long when your favorite sport, football, is longer. And wake me up when the final 2 minutes of the Cavs-Warriors game is over. Maybe I'll be up in time for my next show on Thursday at 6 o'clock. And by the way, at least there are no ties or points for losing. Ridiculous. So the Honda Classic, it took 5 days to finish, mostly because of the weather. It has come and gone, and Patrick Harrington emerged victorious for the first time since 2008, but it all happened without Tiger Woods. And no, he's not suspended like some people are saying he is. Tiger wanted to play this weekend. He said he wouldn't play until he's pro-ready. Tiger Woods is not going to be pro-ready until he realizes he has to stop playing for power. When is Tiger Woods going to learn he is not the power golfer he used to be? He hasn't realized that yet. I realize it every time he swings a club. His swing is all discombobulated, and every time he swings with all of his might, he reaches for his back or his knee or something. Every powerful swing the guy has, he gets hurt. Watch for every time he reaches for his back. Even playing in Scottsdale and the tournament after Scottsdale, I can't remember what it was. After every powerful swing, he tried to put the ball into a million pieces on every drive. It wound up wide left or wide right. It never wound up right down the middle. And he would get hurt every time. He needs to learn how to be a control golfer. Getting out of bad lies is not the issue for him. He's done that pretty well, for the most part, this season. It's his driving that's gone awry, and it's his chipping that is unbelievable. It's a lot easier to get out of a bad drive, but when you can't chip, then you're going to have a terrible day. All of his chips, they stay on the ground, they roll 30 feet past the hole, and it's a 2 or 3 putt every single time. Tiger Woods does not need to retire from golf. He's 36, 37 years old. Look at how old the Honda Classic champion of 2015 is. Patrick Harrington is 43 years old. Tiger Woods won the PGA Player of the Year 2 years ago. He doesn't have to retire. He just has to change his approach. He has to change how he plays his game. I've been saying for a while that he should go back to his old coaches. Old coaches, new control game. Does it mix? No. But if he goes back to his old coaches, remember, from 1996 to 2009, when the whole scandal came about, he was very comfortable with his surroundings. He was very comfortable with who was teaching him what, and he was very comfortable with his caddy who was with him for years. He has to come back before the Masters. He has to get warmed up so he can at least even think about competing. If he's going to come back for the Masters, that's the worst tournament to make your official comeback in. He needs to make a comeback sometime within the next 2 or 3 weeks. That way he can get a couple. He said that he wants to have practice rounds. His goal for the last couple of weeks before he got injured, it was not to win. His goal was to get a feel for the game once again. That way he can compete in the Masters. If he makes his comeback at the Masters, there is no way he's even competing, and I'll be surprised if he even makes the cut, to be honest with you. Don't say Tiger Woods has to retire. Father time is almost unheard of in golf. Jack Nicklaus played until he was 60. I hear people my age that say, I'm going to pick up golf now. Don't say that Tiger Woods has to retire because of out of his prime. Is he out of his prime? Yes. But he's out of his prime because he's a different golfer now. Tiger Woods can no longer hit the ball 320 yards right down the fairway. Tiger Woods has to slow his swing down. He has to, instead of hitting 320 way in the woods, no pun intended, he has to hit 270, 280 down the fairway. I play golf. A lot of people I know play golf. We're pretty good, I guess you can say. But while sometimes I can drive the ball about 300 yards, I will take accuracy over distance any day, no questions asked. Probably because my iron game is pretty good, but any golfer you talk to, they would rather have control over power. He has to work on hitting fairways consistently and using his irons effectively, instead of trying to hit the ball 600 yards and try to be a Happy Gilmore and get a hole-in-one on par 4. Tiger, just change the way you play the game. I know it's difficult. He's been playing the same golf for years. But it's time that he finally comes full circle, and he has to realize that he's not 2006 Tiger anymore, 2004, whatever. He's not the Tiger from a decade ago. I think the Cleveland Browns might be the stupidest team in the National Football League. They pick Johnny Manziel. You assume is going to be, or what they want, you assume that they think he is the face of their franchise. After a few bad weeks later on in the year, they say they don't even know what direction they're going in. They said that they're not sure what Manziel is going to bring to the table, so they signed a 35-year-old Josh McCown. I don't trust Brian Hoyer. Johnny Manziel, 1 year is not enough for me. It's a good idea to sign a vet for what might be, so your future, in this case, it's Johnny Manziel, figuratively speaking. It's a good idea to sign a vet so you can teach your future how to play the game, look up to it for a year or so, and then play. Josh McCown is not the veteran you should sign for Johnny Manziel to look up to. First of all, they have completely different styles of play. Second of all, Josh McCown stinks. You're going to have a bad quarterback look up to another bad quarterback? This team is clueless. They have no idea what direction they even want to go to. They have 3 QBs on their roster under contract that can possibly start. And the odds are at this point, they're going to go wrong no matter what. Because all 3 of their quarterbacks, I think they'd be better off with me. They already had a dilemma with 2 quarterbacks. You figured that Brian Hoyer and Johnny Manziel were going to fight for another starting QB spot. Then they decided to bring in another one? Unless if they really believe in Josh McCown, and I just found out Brian Hoyer isn't under contract. But anyway, they have a ton of QBs on their roster. Unless if they really believe McCown is their guy, he's going to have to take you to a Super Bowl within the next 2 years because he's 35 years old. His career is almost over, Cleveland. This is really just a dumb signing. This is obviously a short-term plan, but Josh McCown is very far from a short-term success guy. Honestly, they're better off with Brett Favre at this point. I'm sure he'll want to come back. I just don't get why they have a roster filled with a ton of quarterbacks. They have Hoyer, Manziel, Thigpen, Connor Shaw. That's 4 people that can legitimately start for this team if they have good preseasons, and then they added a 5th. What in the world are they thinking? This management it's unbelievable. They need to worry more about what Josh Gordon is doing off the field. You're getting five quarterbacks on your roster, but you can't have your key wide receiver get away from smoking marijuana? You're missing wide receivers. You're not missing quarterbacks. You have too many of those. I can't remember what pick they have in the draft, but something tells me that if Jameis Winston and Mariota falls to them, they're going to pick them. If they actually do that, that would be ridiculous. I'm sure they're not going to do that. I don't think any sort of management is that stupid. But you have to have something really messed up there if you're signing a fifth quarterback. I mean, no matter what they do, Cleveland's falling toward the bottom of the division anyway. Johnny Manziel is not going to lead them anywhere. Brian Hoyer is not going to lead them anywhere. Josh McCown is not leading anyone anywhere anytime soon. And Connor Shaw and Tyler Thigpen, no. I'm telling you, they're better off with Brett Favre. I swear. Even though he's, 50-something? Around there? Ugh, Cleveland. At least the Indians and Cavaliers are getting better. LeBron's saving them. Michael Brantley's saving them. But the Browns, oh boy. Morik updates. First off, at Ramapo, the indoor track team fought for an NJAC title at the Armory Thursday night. The men's team took second by 3.5 points. The women's took third. The men's team lost by 3.5 points. Kevin Diana opened the meet for Ramapo with a photo finish win in the 60-meter, finishing just over 7 seconds. Jeremy Hernandez and Peter Tui finished the 800-meter and mile first and second, respectively. Paul Jules added the 1-2-3 punch in the mile, and he also came in first in the 3,000-meter, running in 8 minutes, 43.09 seconds. Philip Dowell won the triple jump, jumping 14.74 meters. Michael Began won the shot put, throwing 14.58 meters. And for the lady road runners, Emily Brock won the 5,000 meter, running it in 18 minutes, 34.24 seconds. The men's tennis team lost to Yeshiva University 7-2 on Thursday night. They will be back in action Wednesday against TCNJ. The baseball team won both of their games this weekend. Yesterday's doubleheader was canceled. First game was on Friday against the University of Pittsburgh at Greensburg down in Fayetteville, North Carolina. They won that game 10-0. Walker Larson threw 6 2/3 innings of shutout baseball, let up 5 hits, 3 walks, and he struck out 8. DH Chris Ware, 4 for 5 with 2 doubles, 4 RBIs, and he also scored twice. Outfielder Scott Pesciani went 2 for 3 with a double, a triple, and 2 ribbies, and he scored 4 times on Friday. They were back in action on Saturday. They beat the St. Joseph's College of Maine 4-2. Tom Portese pitched 8 innings, struck out 14, letting up just 6 hits, 2 walks, and 2 earned runs. Mark Doyle credited with the save. Chris Ware, 2 for 4 with an RBI. Scott Pesciani, 1 for 3 with an RBI double. Baseball on a little bit of a break. They are back in action on March 14th when they travel to Florida for a couple of games. Women's lacrosse opened the season at Mount St. Mary's College in New York, losing 14-10. Lindsay Hughes and Alyssa Tatson each had a hat trick. Katie Duca and Marissa Ference each had 4 ground balls. They will be back in action on their home opener Wednesday against Johnson & Wales at 3:30. The men's volleyball team played 2 games on Saturday. They won both of them in straight sets. They are on a 3-game win streak. They have now won 5 of their last 6, 15 of their last 20 sets, They moved to 8-8 overall, 3-1 in the Skyline Conference. Their first game on Saturday was against Purchase College. Team kills 45-22 in favor of Ramapo. Hitting percentage was 260-122 in favor of Ramapo. Justin Fagelis led the team, collecting 10 kills. Alec Weissman dished out 36 assists. The second game against Mount St. Vincent, Ryan Cassie had 11 kills. Moranis Tavernier put away 7 service aces on the day. Kurt McDonald led the Roadrunners on defense with 15 digs in both games, and Ramapo returns to action Tuesday night when they travel to Yeshiva University for an 8 o'clock matchup. They won in straight sets their last meeting. Moving on to professional sports, we sadly have to mourn the deaths of 2 great sporting icons, former Knick Anthony Mason at the age of 48, and Mr. White Sox Minnie Minoso passed away over the weekend at the age of 90. In a hard-fought battle involving a couple of scuffles, the Houston Rockets defeated the Cleveland Cavaliers 105-103 in overtime. LeBron, 3 for 11 from the charity stripe. He missed 2 free throws with 4.2 seconds to play. James Harden, 8 for 18 from the field, but he made that up with going 15 from 18 from the line. He had 33, 8, and 5. LeBron, 15 for 35 from the field. He had 37, 8, and 4. Good news for the Knicks, they won both games over the weekend, marking their first win streak since January 19th to the 23rd, where they won 3 in a row. The bad news, well, they're 12-46. First game Friday against the Pistons, they won 121-115. Andrea Bargnani, 25 points and 12 boards. He was 10 for 20 from the field. On Saturday, they upset the division-leading Raptors 103-98 at the Garden. Tim Hardaway Jr. was 8 for 15 from the field. He had 22 and 7. Andrea Bargnani, 19 points. The Brooklyn Nets split their weekend schedule, losing to the Rockets 102-98, and they beat Dallas 104-94. On Friday, the Nets shot 23.7% from the three-point range, but Saturday was a lot better with D. Will scoring 25 points. He was 9 for 14 from the field. They shot 43.5% from the three-point range as a team, 52% overall from the field. Joel Johnson, Mason Plumlee, Thaddeus Young, and Jarrett Jack all scored in double digits. The Knicks will play the Kings on Tuesday at Madison Square Garden. The Nets are back in action tonight against Steph Curry and the Warriors at the Barclays Center. You can catch that at 7:30 on the YES Network. Moving down south to spring training. I know we have a lot of updates today, folks. Chris Sale's opening day status is uncertain as he fractured his foot in a home accident. Can't be good if you fracture your home. Jeff Samardzija would most likely start if Sale cannot pitch, and Angels manager Mike Scioscia announced that Garrett Richards will not be ready for opening day. He is eyeing a late April return. In New York Yankee news, they had an inter-squad game today. They will start officially playing spring training games tomorrow against the Philadelphia Phillies. A-Rod has been working out at both corners of the infield. Reporters saying he's looking good at both positions, but he won't travel to Clearwater tomorrow to play the Phillies. He will play in Wednesday's home opener against the Phillies. Adam Warren will get the start in the first spring training game tomorrow. Nathan Eovaldi gets the ball on Wednesday. Esmo Rogers on Thursday. They will all throw for about 2 innings or 35 pitches, whatever comes first. Luis Severino and Jacob Lindgren will throw on Tuesday. Andrew Miller on Wednesday. CeCe Sabathia, Michael Pineda, Chris Capuano, and Tanaka will not throw until next week. Speaking of Masahiro Tanaka, he has not thrown as many bullpens as the rest of the staff. He finally threw live BP today, but Girardi says he is indeed on schedule. The New York Mets down in Port St. Lucie. Lucas Duda will finally start swinging a bat shortly after he strained a muscle in his left side before camp began. ESPNNewYork.com reports Bartolo Colon is a favorite for opening day, followed by Zach Wheeler. Harvey will not pitch until at least their home opener on March 13th. David Wright, Curtis Granderson, Michael Kadire, and Daniel Murphy will not play in the first 2 Grapefruit League games. They are both on the road. Terry Collins plans to have their debuts come in Friday against the Detroit Tigers, in which you will also see Matt Harvey pitch. That game will be televised on SNY. We are moving back indoors. The Devils split over the weekend. They lost to the Bruins 3-2 in overtime after Ryan Spooner's game-winning goal, his first of his career. Jordan Tutu and Travis Zajac had a goal each. Corey Schneider, although the losing goalie, nice numbers, saving 31 of 34. Saturday, they came back and defeated the Columbus Blue Jackets 2-0. Andy Green and Travis Zajac with goals. Schneider, his 4th shutout of the season with 33 saves. They will be back in action tomorrow against the best team in the league, the Nashville Predators, at Prudential Center. Today, they traded Marek Zidlicky for a Red Wings 2016 third-round pick. The Islanders also split over the weekend. They beat the Calgary Flames 2-1 on Friday. Cal Clutterbuck and Ryan Strome each with a goal. Jaroslav Halak with 26 saves. They were upset by the Hurricanes Saturday night. John Tavares recorded his 30th goal on the year Coleman and Michael Grabner also scored. Halak had the night off. Chad Johnson, Trace Cero, not Ocho Cinco, had 36 saves on 41 shots. He was just traded away. They will be back in action Tuesday night against the Stars. The Rangers won again on Thursday, beating the Arizona Coyotes 4-3. Cam Talbot stayed hot with 37 saves on 40 shots. Chris Kreider and Lee Stepniak each with 2 goals. Saturday, they were defeated by the Philadelphia Flyers 4-2. Michael Del Zotto, former Ranger, with the game-winning goal. John Moore, who is now a Coyote, and JT Miller each had a goal each. Carl Hagelin, Dominic Moore, Tanner Glass had an assist each. Tim Calvert, 30 saves on 33 shots. They are back in action against the Nashville Predators tonight at the Garden. The Rangers traded for Keith Yandel from the Coyotes. Jaromir Jagr ties Phil Esposito for 5th on the all-time goals list with 717. And yesterday, Alex Ovechkin scored his 40th goal of the yesterday against the Toronto Maple Leafs. To the gridiron, Cardinals cut Darnell Dockett. Dolphins released Brian Hartline and Brandon Gibson. The Falcons released Harry Douglas. Bengals released Greg Little and Robert Geathers. The Ravens released Jacoby Jones. The Chiefs placed a franchise tag on linebacker Justin Houston, who had 22 sacks last year. The Detroit Lions will not tag Ndamukong Suh. He will be a free agent. The Broncos tagged Demaryius Thomas. The Giants tag Jason Pierre-Paul. The Cowboys tag Des Bryant. And the Patriots tag Steven Gostkowski. And the Honda Classic ended this morning. Patrick Harrington wins this in the second hole of a playoff. His first PGA Tour win since the 2008 PGA Championship. Phil Mickelson finished even. Rory McIlroy missed the +4 cut. Wow, that was a lot of updates, but that's what happens when you have a show every Monday and Thursday. You got to go through it all. So, yesterday after the Cleveland Cavaliers and Houston Rockets game, I was talking to a couple of buddies of mine, and as soon as LeBron James missed those 2 free throws, we immediately brought up Skip Bayless. And I knew he was going to say something about LeBron, because, when does he not? I'm cool with Skip Bayless. I've gotten used to the fact that he just says things that come out of who knows where. But yesterday, Skip Bayless had one of the most ludicrous tweets I've seen in a really long time. Quote, LeBron James, all-time great passer, defender, basket attacker, below average shooter, no clutch gene. Okay. Below average shooter, no clutch gene. The NBA average this year from the field, 44.8. LeBron James this year, 49.1%. Last year, NBA average, 45.4. LeBron's field goal percentage, 56.7. The year before that, 45.3 against 56.5. Guess who won that battle? LeBron James. LeBron James has been above the league average in shooting by a lot every year except one, his rookie year. It's funny that Skip would actually say something like this, because Skip uses a lot of stats to back up his arguments, but this was ridiculous. And by the way, I'm probably going to stir a little bit of a controversy here. No clutch gene? Skip, didn't we throw that away in 2012? Skip Bayless thinks the term clutch is the final 5 minutes of the game only. If you look at clutch stats in the NBA, I think that's actually what the statistic means. But hypothetically speaking, LeBron James can drop 50 points in Game 7 of the Finals, not play the final 2 minutes because the Cavs are up 50, and he'd say something about how he's not convinced because he didn't show anything toward the end of the game. Oh, but I'm sure he thinks Michael Jordan's flu game is one of the most clutch performances of all time, right? Clutch is not just the last 5 minutes or the last shot. Clutch, the definition in sport, denoting or recurring in a critical situation in which the outcome of a game or a competition is at stake. If Skip Bayless thinks the last 5 minutes are the only thing that affects the outcome of any game in any sport, he needs to find a new occupation, plain and simple. No clutch gene because he missed 2 free throws? Okay, what about his 15 career game winners? 11 of them in under 5 seconds, 5 of them in the playoffs, 8 of them with less than 1 second on the clock, including 3 buzzer beaters. He's had 7 game-winning shots since March 6, 2013. How about his 11 playoff triple-doubles in his 48 career, including the playoffs? Perfect example right here. Game 6, 2013 finals, the game where every Miami Heat fan left the arena and they tried to come back in after Ray Allen hit that game-tying shot, but they were locked out. Ray Allen gets all the credit for saving LeBron. LeBron James had a triple-double that game. Ray Allen would not have had that chance if it weren't for LeBron. Oh, but LeBron missed the game-tying 3. He's not clutch. Stop being so selfish. Did Ray Allen save LeBron? Yes. I'm not going to deny that. If Ray Allen misses that shot, LeBron only has 1 title, 1 championship ring. Another example. LeBron James had a triple-double in his last game before going to the Miami Heat. Did the Cavaliers win that game? No. So that automatically means he wasn't clutch? Clutch moment? No, I guess he didn't have one. But he had a clutch game. He was the reason the Cavs even made the playoffs, let alone the finals and a couple of Eastern Conference finals and semifinals. If that's not clutch, I don't know what is. Oh, and LeBron is the only player ever, not Michael Jordan, not Kobe Bryant, not Oscar Robertson, not Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. LeBron James is the only player ever to have a triple-double and a buzzer beater in the same playoff game. Don't tell me he does not have the clutch gene. Game 5, 2012 finals against Oklahoma City, where they won the title. LeBron, triple-double. Clutch game. You don't have to be clutch in just the last few minutes in order to be clutch. You can have clutch games. It's unbelievable. It is unbelievable. And on top of that, this is a regular season game. This isn't, the Cavs are making the playoffs. This is not game 7 of the finals. This is a regular season game. Honestly, most NBA players, especially when you're on a team like the Cavs or the Spurs or a team that's a shoe-in for the playoffs, they don't even care about the regular season. LeBron James, I think in the game against the Spurs this year, the first time he played the Spurs this year, he missed the game-winning shot, and he literally said, "My bad," went into the locker room, didn't think a thing of it. That's a discussion for another day about how pros don't really care about the regular season, but I'm sure he's not going to be too worried about this one. LeBron, including the playoffs, 48 triple-doubles. He's almost doubled the clutch master Michael Jordan. I'm not comparing the two. Michael Jordan is obviously the better player. I'm just throwing out stats here. People say, and another thing that bothers me, people say that one person is better than another because of one thing. I saw someone say that Russell Westbrook is better because he would have hit those free throws. You don't know who would have hit any free throws. Wilt Chamberlain could have hit those free throws. DeAndre Jordan could have hit those free throws. Shaquille O'Neal could have hit those free throws. Don't assume that someone is going to make a free throw, because we saw LeBron miss 2 in a clutch situation yesterday. LeBron James is the best basketball player on the planet, even he missed those. So don't assume that someone will make those free throws. The odds of them making it are high, but that doesn't mean they are going to. Someone's not better at something else because of one thing. Oh, this guy threw a touchdown. He's better than that guy. No, you're better because of this, that, and the other thing. You can't show that someone is better because they messed up on something. That goes back to my combine rant last week. People rank these players after a couple of mistakes? Come on! Skip Bayless wants to have a guy that can hit one shot under 10 seconds left, but be ice in the first 47 minutes and 50 seconds. That's your choice. But clutch is the entire 48 minutes. And yes, LeBron stunk yesterday. Overall, including free throws, he was 18 for 46. 3 from 11 from the line, 15 for 35 from the field. But don't say that he does not have the clutch gene because of two mishaps, I should say. Don't say because of one game, and especially when his history says otherwise. Remember, 15 game winners, one of them being a free throw. Okay, Skip, I'll give you that one. 5 of them in the playoffs, 3 buzzer beaters, 8 with under a second left. Those were a couple of takes away from being buzzer beaters. Don't say that he does not have the clutch gene, especially when half of his game winners have been in the last 2 calendar years. Stop it. Everyone, not just Skip Bayless, because I know there are some people listening right now that say the same exact thing about LeBron because they can't get over the fact that he choked hard 4 years ago in the finals. Did he choke hard? Yes. No one can deny that. But don't say that he doesn't have the clutch gene when history says otherwise. Just got an update that James Harden is actually suspended for kicking LeBron James in the groin area during yesterday's game. I think that's a good punishment. But I think that the only hypocritical thing about that is that he didn't even get ejected from yesterday's game, and now you're kicking him out of one game. I mean, come on now. Something just has to go together. Fair, but not fair at the same time, if that makes any sense. So the Spurs had a Hacker DeAndre scheme the other night. Every time DeAndre Jordan got the ball, he got fouled. And he would go to the free throw line and miss. Doc Rivers called it bad for the sport. The Hacker DeAndre thing. What's bad for the sport is that a professional basketball player is shooting 41% from the free throw line. Skip Bayless, where are you? We're talking about free throws and how we can't hit them. Come on. I am far from a good basketball player. But I think even I can hit 40% from the free throw line. This is why Popovich and the Spurs are great. This is just another way of playing smart basketball. Where's Herm Edwards when you need him? Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it. The guy shoots 72% from the field, 41% from the line. What is so bad about what the Spurs did? You play for the odds, right? If you have 20 in blackjack, you stay. If you have 13, you're probably going to hit. Right? I mean, what do I know? I can't gamble. Unless if I go to Empire City. It's just another simple basketball scheme that more teams should take advantage of. I'm surprised that I haven't seen this too often. If Shaq and Wilt Chamberlain and all the guys that I listed before about who could have possibly made LeBron's free throws, if they were still in the league and I'm a coach, I'm telling them, foul those guys. Because I'd rather take my chances, especially when you hit 40% from the line and 70% from the field. You're more likely to not let up points when you foul the guy. It's obvious according to the stat sheet. You don't like your guys getting fouled, Doc Rivers? Practice free throws. And get LeBron to practice also. You can talk to him about those also. If LeBron hits those free throws, if he hits 3 more free throws, the Cavs win. If DeAndre Jordan, I think they even won that game against the Spurs. I can't remember right now. But you don't like your guys getting fouled? This is basketball. You get fouled. And especially when you're a big man. You're 7 feet tall. You can practically drop the ball into the basket. And you can't do it. The guy's 41% from the free throw line. I will gladly take my chances with DeAndre at the charity stripe any day, any time, any arena. People say that Greg Popovich and the Spurs are boring to watch. They're boring to watch because they play smart. Honestly, the reason why some people watch the Knicks is because they are that bad. You watch the Knicks and you expect something bad to happen. Did you see the shot that guy Shaved took the other night? It went the 5th row behind the backboard. That's why people watch those. You don't watch the Spurs because they play smart. No, they're not very flashy like LeBron and James Harden and Russell Westbrook and all these guys. Tim Duncan's nickname is Mr. Fundamental. But when you play smart, you win. Don't you? I've never seen a team in any sport play poorly and win. No, it doesn't happen like that. If you play smart, you're going to win. This was just another smart scheme by Greg Popovich. His strategy is the reason why, if I don't think he is already, but if he's not, he has to go into the coaching Hall of Fame or what? He has to go into the Basketball Hall of Fame for a coach, for anything right now. Because the guy is a flat-out genius. Even if Greg Popovich, like when I play pickup basketball, I get fouled a lot because I'm the tallest guy on the court, and I am like DeAndre Jordan. The chances of me hitting a layup are a lot better than my chances at the free throw line, and anyone you talk to will say the same exact thing. What is so bad about this? People are saying that the NBA should make a rule on limiting fouls. That's ridiculous. The one thing they should get rid of is intentionally fouling people to send them to the line. And that, if you're going to get rid of anything, get rid of that. People are, that's, oh God. All I know is that if you really have a problem with what the Spurs did, you shouldn't be a basketball fan, plain and simple. Like Herm Edwards said, you play to win the game. You don't play to just play it. You play to win. You think of these defensive schemes that you hope are going to work. And this one worked. The guy probably had, 50 free throws? And let's say he went to the line 30 times, 41%. That's about 13 free throws. I'm sorry, I'll take that over him almost guaranteeing 2 points when he's a part of one of the flashiest teams in the NBA. Definitely. More basketball, and this is one of the most bizarre things I've heard in a while. The Nuggets had the following chant in one of their huddles during their game the other day. 1, 2, 3, 6 weeks. Look at the NBA schedule and tell me when the season ends, the regular season. It ends in 6 weeks. They are literally, and they don't care who hears, they are literally counting down the days until the season ends. I understand the point of tanking. I understand why they're tanking. But don't talk about tanking in the public eye. Don't chant about it where everyone can hear you. Honestly, I think there should be a fine for tanking. Oh, but how are you going to know if the team, whether or not the team is just tanking or if they're just bad? You know if they have a chant for it. I get that the Nuggets don't have the talent to win. I get it. I get that they want to improve their future, but people are spending money to go to your games. People are spending money to essentially watch you lose. This goes for any team, not just the Nuggets. Any team that tanks. Football, baseball, basketball, hockey, soccer, cricket, whatever. Stop wasting everyone's time. You're wasting yours. You're wasting the fans. You're wasting the coaches. You're wasting the other teams for even showing up. Pay a fine and get it over with. People are literally paying for a seat to watch you throw a game. Isn't that illegal? For the most part, yeah, especially when gamblers are involved. We used to throw people in prison for throwing games. Now people are getting praised for it. You play the sport professionally, not just to make money, but because you love the game. Of course, the money is a huge factor in why you continue your success, and the fame, and the cars, and whatever. But you don't love the game if you can't wait for the season to be over. Any game that I've ever played, some games I knew my team would get killed. Some games I knew where we would kill the other team. But that did not stop me from wanting to go all out and play the game the right way. Whether I'm facing a guy at the plate who throws 50 miles an hour or 90 miles an hour, I am going up there and I'm trying my hardest because I love the game. Fans are paying to watch the team lose for a hope at a number one pick. The Nuggets aren't even guaranteed whether they had a fine for tanking or not. If you're going to deliberately lose to get a pick, you should pay a price. Every loss you want to have should be a couple $1,000s. Then we'll see if teams really think it's worth it to tank. You'll never know if you'll win the game if you don't try. I get some teams just aren't made to win. But was a 1980 U.S. hockey team made to win? Were Mercer and Lehigh made to win against Duke? Was Florida Gulf Coast made to win against Georgetown? Was Norfolk State made to win against Missouri? You never know what can happen if you try to lose. Upsets happen all the time. We saw Appalachian State, for crying out loud, take down Michigan, who at the time was the number 2 team in America. They literally get paid to lose when they could go all out and who knows, surprise people. The Atlanta Hawks are the best team in the league practically. Yes, they have talent, but no one expected them of this. People pay to watch them lose on purpose. If I'm a coach or an owner or a general manager, I'm sure I'd be thinking a little differently. But as a fan, I want my team to give 110% until they are officially, mathematically eliminated from playoff contention. Then after that, they can pay for however many losses they want. Again, some teams They can't win. And whether the Nuggets actually tried and went all out, could they win? I don't think so. Could they make the playoffs? In the East, maybe. In the West, definitely not. But you never know until you try. And they're literally not trying, and they're making chants about it. If they had a rule in place where they actually got fined, they would have gotten fined the maximum amount for chanting about this. This is absolutely ridiculous. I've never seen something like this. I've seen people talk about tanking. I've seen teams tank. But I've never seen it to the point where you chant about it and let it be heard for everyone in the country, everyone in the arena, no less. They're literally talking about it on SportsCenter. You can't possibly be proud of that. You're legitimately proud that you are trying to lose and that people are spending fortunes to watch you play and they are just watching you throw games, and you're proud that this is on national TV. It's all over SportsCenter. It's all over Around the Horn, all over PTI, and now I'm talking about it. I'm sure the Nuggets aren't listening to this, but I'm sure they watch SportsCenter, and I'm sure that they cannot be proud of their actions. It's ridiculous. I get that you want to lose, but don't publicly count down. Ladies and gentlemen, it is March. 13 days until Selection Sunday for March Madness. Everyone, oh boy, it's going to be hectic. But since it's March, I figured we add a little bit of a segment here on The Ryan Morik Show. Every Monday, every Thursday, 6 to 7 p.m. We're going to have a little bit of a March Madness fact of the day. For the rest of the month, every Monday, every Thursday, I'll give you guys a quick fact about March Madness every show throughout the entire month because it's March. Today's March Madness fact of the day, I found this really surprising. Upsets happen, like I just said, we all know. More 12-5 upsets have happened since the tournament went to 64 teams at least. More 12s have beaten 5s than 11s have beaten 6s. The 12s have beaten the 5s 36.7% of the time, 44 times over the last 120 games. 11s 34.2% of the time, winning only 41 times. And the 10s beating the 7s are not that far off. They've only won 47. I think it was like 39.2% or something like that. And odds are that trend is going to continue once again, and it's going to be brutal. I look forward to it every year, and my hopes get shattered, as do almost everyone's. But that's your March Madness fact of the day. I will look for another good fact for Thursday's show. And that is going to do it for the Ryan Morik Show. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in. This has been the Ryan Morik Show, broadcasting live from Studio A in Ramapo College of New Jersey in Mahwah, New Jersey. Next show, Thursday, 6 o'clock p.m. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not goodbye. It's see you later. The Nets are on. The Rangers are on tonight. Take care, everybody.